Welcome to the Talking Child Podcast, the place where parents of late talkers can find hope and practical strategies. I'm Steph, a speech-language pathologist with over 30 years of experience helping children find their voice. Each week, we'll explore simple, encouraging ways you can support your child's communication at home, starting today. Let's get started. Hey friends, welcome back to the Talking Child Podcast. I'm Steph, and I'm really glad you pressed play today. Before we get into anything else, I want to say this quietly and clearly, because someone listening right now needs to hear it. If you're worried about your child's speech, you're not doing something wrong. You're paying attention, and that matters. Today, we're talking about something I hear from parents more than almost anything else. They say, "My child understands everything, but they just don't talk." And usually when they say it, there's a pause afterward, because it's confusing. It feels encouraging, because understanding feels like a good sign, but it also feels heavy, because you're still waiting for words. So today, we're going to sit right in that space together, the space between understanding and talking. And by the end of this episode, my hope is that you feel calmer, clearer, and more confident about what your child is actually doing, even if words aren't coming yet. Let's start by slowing this way down. Language has two main sides. One side is receptive language. That's understanding. The other side is expressive language. That's talking, singing, using words or sounds. These two sides are connected, but they are not equal, and they are not simultaneous. Understanding almost always comes first. Think about babies. Long before a baby ever says a word, they already recognize familiar voices, respond to their name, know feeding routines, and anticipate what comes next. They understand long before they speak. And that pattern continues well into toddlerhood and beyond. So when parents tell me things like, "He follows directions," "She knows what I'm talking about," "They understand everything I say," I don't feel alarmed. I feel encouraged, because understanding tells us that the brain is doing important work. It tells us your child is listening, processing, making sense of the world. That matters more than most people realize. But here's where things start to get emotionally tricky, because when a child understands well, adults naturally expect more from them, and this happens without anyone meaning to do harm. We start asking more questions. "What's this? What do you want? Can you say it?" We pause and wait. We look at them with hope in our eyes, and what started as encouragement can quietly turn into pressure. If your child understands but doesn't talk yet, I want you to hear this. Talking is much harder than understanding. Understanding language is mostly passive. Talking is active, complex, and vulnerable. To say even one word, your child has to know the meaning, remember the word, plan how to move their mouth, coordinate breath and voice, time it correctly, and feel safe enough to try. That's a lot. So when expressive language lags behind receptive language, it's usually not about motivation, it's about readiness. I want to gently challenge a common thought many parents carry. You might be thinking, if they understand, they should be able to say it. But language doesn't work like that. Understanding does not automatically turn into talking. It supports it, it prepares for it, but it does not force it. And that's important to know, because pressure doesn't build skills. Safety does. Let's talk about pressure for a moment. Pressure can sound like, "I know you know this. Just say it. Use your words." Even when said kindly, pressure tells a child something is expected of you. And for a child who isn't ready yet, that expectation can shut things down. You might notice your child looking away, walking off, refusing, getting silly, or melting down. That's not defiance, that's communication. Your child is saying, "This feels hard." So what do we do instead? We stop testing and we start modeling. Modeling means you give language freely without requiring a response. Instead of, "What do you want?" you say, "You want juice." Instead of, "What's this?" you say, "That's a ball, a big ball." Instead of waiting silently for them to answer, you keep the interaction moving. This removes pressure and builds understanding and confidence at the same time. One of the most powerful tools you can use is narration, and I want to be clear about what I mean, because this doesn't mean talking nonstop. Narration is short, relevant, connected to what your child is already doing. You're climbing. You opened it. You're stuck. You're mad. You don't like that. This helps your child connect words to real experiences. This is how language actually sticks. Now let's talk about communication that isn't spoken, because this is a big one. If your child points, reaches, hands you something, pulls you toward what they want most, or looks at you and then at an object, that is communication. It counts. And when we respond to those attempts as meaningful, children learn something powerful. I can make myself understood. That feeling of success is what makes kids willing to try again. Sometimes parents worry, if I respond without words, will they ever talk? And I want to reassure you, responding to communication does not stop speech. It supports it. Because language grows best when a child feels successful, not stuck. Here's another important piece. When a child understands language well, they are often observing more than responding. They're watching, listening, taking it in, and observation is learning. Just because your child isn't responding out loud doesn't mean nothing is happening. A lot is happening quietly. I want to pause here and speak directly to the parent who feels discouraged. If you've been waiting for words for a long time, if you've tried everything, if you're tired of well-meaning advice, I want you to know this. Understanding is not almost talking, it's part of talking, and it deserves to be respected. So here's your gentle focus for the week. Model more than you ask. Comment more than you question. And respond to all communication, not just words. Trust that understanding is doing important work behind the scenes. Your child is not stuck, they are building, and you are supporting them in a way that truly matters. Thank you for being here with me today, and I'll see you next time on the Talking Child Podcast. Thank you for listening to the Talking Child Podcast. If you found today's episode helpful, I'd love for you to share it with a friend. You can also grab a copy of my book, Helping Your Child Find Their Voice, available on Amazon, and find parent coaching or speech therapy services at synergyspeechandlanguage.com. Be sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss future episodes. I'll see you next time.